Welcome back to the homestead.
We are planting some onion transplants here. These are some red onion transplants. Hello, Maggie. Are you going to help us to do it today? And these are my favorite onions. So if anybody wants to know, I love red onions. Actually, last year, I just finished my last red onions from last year. So, and they are my favorite. They have my best flavor, and I really, really like them. So we're going to do those today.
It's a pretty busy day around the homestead, so we just brought you guys along this evening while we got out in the garden. We told you before that we like to plant when the moon's out, when the sun's going down. So that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, and these transplants, I generally go about 1 inch deep and about 3 to 4 inches apart. And for me, it works out very well. I put them all around the perimeter of my beds. So they're great companion plants with most anything. Now here's a little interesting note that I figured out over 8 years doing these, because every year I've tried to get better and better at planting my onions. I found that whenever I use the transplants, because I'm going to do both, I do the bulbs and the transplants. Whenever I did these transplants, these are the ones that last longer and they overwinter. So they're very good, they're much better at storage. So it was just crazy, I finally figured that out, and it was all because of these are the ones that last the longest. As opposed to also the white onions. White onions will store a very, very long time. I actually have quite a few white onions from last year, still left over that I haven't used, and they're still in great condition.
All right, next bed.
Now we're working on the onion sets, or like the little bulbs. Now the one thing with these is I always wanted, when I was talking to the Amish, some of them would have the biggest onions and I wanted the biggest onions. So the trick is to get your onions is to plant them early and to plant them not very deep. So my soil is very loomy and it's easy, it breaks apart. So I'm just gonna get my bulb, the little roots on the bottom, and I just push it in there a little bit. The top's exposed because what's gonna happen, I'm gonna water it and it's gonna root, and then it's gonna give it time for that bulb to get bigger. If it's under the ground too much, it won't grow that big. And it works. I finally got some nice sized onions.
And when you have them, you can see the roots at the bottom here, and then you can see this one's even starting to sprout at the top. So be mindful on which way you put them in the dirt, because you don't want to put them in upside down, you'll lose that bulb.
And you plant these really quick.
Like Jimmy John's.
It doesn't take very long to plant these. These are simple. It took us but a couple minutes at the most.
Another benefit of planting at night is that it always seems to be a little bit cooler. So even though the temperatures are mild right now, it still feels really nice out.
Yeah, and another important point about growing big onions is you get those in early, like I was saying, but you want to get them as soon as you can work the soil, as early as you can, because that's really, it makes a huge difference.
And we're planting this right in the same bed that we planted all that arugula, if you saw it in the last video.
Arugula!
It's what's for dinner. Now on to my taters.
Get those taters. So this year I'm doing Kennebec potatoes.
Ooh, sounds fancy.
Well, we usually did Kennebec. Last year was the first year that I didn't do them. We did the Yukon Gold. Now, this is a white potato, and it's a great tasting potato. The Amish love it here, and that's usually where I get it from. And it's a larger white potato. It has a thinner skin, and the cool thing about it, it produces huge yields, and they're easy to grow. So, like, you talk about gardening for dummies or growing potatoes for dummies, this is kind of an easy one to grow. And it's really resistant to diseases and blight. And the one thing that's awesome about them is they're great for cold storage, so they last the winter very well. So this is definitely a good one for us. And since we have our root cellar, right? And I'm putting them in these lower beds because it'll be easier for us to dig up. So I'm really excited about my Kennebecs today.
So we cut these potatoes a couple days ago and gave it some time to kind of scab over. So there's some debate about that, whether you need to do that. We normally do. And as you can see here, these are called eyes. See these little green things right here? And so another debate is that when you put these on the ground, you want to have the eyes pointing up.
And that's a little plant that'll come up.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go about 3 inches deep and about a foot apart.
And again, the trick is to have that loomy soil. So the looser the soil, the bigger the potato can grow. That's why when you're hilling it up, all that loose soil is getting on top and that potato is just growing and growing. A little bit opposite than the onions we talked about earlier, because with the potatoes, you want to keep the sun off of them. They have to be covered up all the time or they'll turn green and they could even get poisonous. So now we're at another little bed for some more taters.
And I'm just kind of breaking up so the ground's nice and loomy and loose so we can put the red Pontiac potatoes in. So this is just a different variety of red potato, just a little different flavor. Because we like variety, you know, variety is a spice of life.
It's also good too when you garden to have variety, because sometimes they get disease or they'll get attacked, and a lot of times the bug or the disease is specific to that plant. So if you try different varieties, you might be able to still harvest something that you really like, just a different type of it because it made it through.
For sure, I always say this is like our gardening insurance. You know, I plant things different places and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Same things with the Pontiacs. We cut them open, they have eyes on them right now. They do look a little bit different. The other ones looked a little more silver or dark, kind of gray. These are a little redder and a little whiter on the skins here.
And then they have a little bit of thicker skin. Like I was saying, the Kennebecs, the potatoes, when you do eat them, the skin you can eat, and the Kennebecs are really good for like anything, French fries, mashed potatoes, stews, I mean anything. And these, I like to eat them separately. I roast them. These are really good that way. So it just depends your preference.
I guess some of that information might be in the cookbook. Well, we were able to get in the onions and the potatoes.
Yes, thanks for hanging out with us. It was lots of fun. It kind of helped to go by a little quicker.
And these aren't just the only potatoes that we're planting. We also will be putting in sweet potatoes pretty soon.
And I got the orange ones. I'm gonna do the garnet ones, and then we'll do the Malachi potatoes because those are our absolute favorites. And I was saying my favorite onion is the red onion. So you guys, let us know what's your favorite onion? Because there's lots of
It's a blooming onion.
Yeah.
So we're gonna head inside. Well, I'm gonna head inside. She's gonna go check the water at the chicken house, and we will see you guys
tomorrow.
Yeah.
See ya.